University of North Georgia, is that right, Will? His subject today will be on conservative youth activism, something we desperately need. I know there are conferences that we sometimes go to, and you know, you look around the room and it's not looking too good as far as the young people being there. It's just a lot. You know what? But honestly, God, today I look around this room and it's great. There's no offense against the older people, no offense. But we obviously need youth activism if we're going to grow and continue. And obviously, you know what? College Republicans, they're the ones that are the boots on the ground. Yeah. When you talk about different Republican organizations, they're the ones that really, they do work. They go door to door. They're important. And I hope everybody realizes that, but I'm not going to go on. I'm just going to introduce our next speaker. Please put your hands together and welcome Will Kremer.
Hey, you guys. My name is Will Kremer, as he said. Like Jason said earlier, he took me to lunch one day. Me and my 20 pounds of hair that curl all over. It's pretty awful. Anyways, you guys, I have the best job in the world. I really do. You know what? I get to go to college campuses all over Georgia. I get to go to college campuses from Rome to Savannah, from Adel and Valdosta, all the way up to Toccoa and UGA at Activism. And I get to go to the hotbed of liberalism and tell them why they're wrong. And, anyone can do that. Anyone can go to a liberal and say, hey, you're wrong and here's why. I mean, it's pretty easy to do. But what really makes it fun is that college students, we know everything. Me personally, I know everything, so it just makes it so much more fun. Anywho, the best part about my job, though, is getting to dispel myths. Getting to bust myths about liberalism and college students and college campuses. And the three that I always tell people that I dispel is, number one, the youth phenomenon started with Obama. That's wrong. The youth phenomenon started with George W. Bush, you guys. The numbers of young people, of college students that have voted in presidential elections has gone up by 1% each and every election since 2000. It started with 16% with George W. Bush, and now it's at 19% with Barack Obama. It's not unique to him, guys. Youth, we have voice, and it's increasing. And the goal is to capture it and get it to our side. The second myth that I like to bust, I like to be myth busters, is that we get more conservative as we get older. That used to be the case, you guys. It's not any longer. As you grow older, it's been proven, especially in the 2012 election, that you do not be more conservative. The only age demographic that did not decrease their votes for Barack Obama, in fact, they increased their votes for Barack Obama, was 30 to 34-year-olds. Do you know why? Our economy, young people can't go and buy houses. Things that young people do that turn them conservative. Start businesses, pay taxes, buy houses. We're not able to do that anymore. Over half of the college graduates will move back home to their parents. I don't want that, and I know you guys certainly don't want that. And that's what we're gaining with liberalism and the Obama economy. But why are we voting for the Democrats? Communication. We haven't wrapped our minds around it yet. We haven't been able to control the media, control our message. Words like big government, that may scare people of other generations. My generation, focusers have found we don't understand what big means. We're like, what, big buildings? Big what? What do you mean big government? The word intrusive. That's what gets young people. Do you know what big is to us? Big is this. Big is the ability to talk to anybody, anywhere, at any time. Big is having 1 million Twitter followers, 5,000 friends on Facebook. Being able to control social media is big to us. But you know what we don't like? Intrusive government that spies on us. Intrusive government that collects data on us through angry birds. Yeah, that's real, you guys. And that's what the NSA is, and that's what we don't like. That's what we're terrified of. Mention the NSA to young people. watch their skin just crawl. I mean, we do not like that. Big government, we don't understand it. And that's the big problem that Republicans are facing. The third myth is that we're liberal. We're not. You can go to any college campus, just talk to somebody. Don't say Democrat, don't say Republican, conservative, liberal. Don't say any of those little hot topic words. Just talk to them. Ask their opinion. Ask what they think of taxes. Ask what they think of starting a new business and what we can do to start a new business and what the government can do to help out. They're going to sound like conservatives, you guys, and they're going to vote liberal. The College Republican National Committee put out a report after our dismal defeat in 2012 called The Grand Old Party for a New Generation. And they took focus groups, and they gave them keywords, and they did all these studies, and they compiled this really nice, not very well condensed 95-page report that I read through. And I encourage everyone here to read through it if you have a chance to sit down and read 95 pages. Not many do. And it's really interesting what you'll find out. You'll find out that 69% of young people get all of their news from Facebook. And do you know what that means? It means that we trust our friends and our family to go through news and to give it to us instead of going to CNN or Fox or our local TV station giving us news. We trust our friends more. If we can capitalize on social media, we can control the argument, we can control the debate, and we can get young people. With the Virginia gubernatorial election, Ken Cuccinelli, and anyone here follow that race? Oh, good. 4 hands not expected. Well, for those of you who followed it, you guys know the Republicans basically disowned Ken Cuccinelli. They said, we don't want you, you do not represent our party. They labeled him too extreme. Well, you know, I mean, what we found out, the college Republicans found out, it doesn't matter if you're too extreme to the right or you're the biggest rhino to ever walk the face of the earth. What matters is social media. No one targeted young people in that race. There are polls that had Ken Cuccinelli down by double digits 2 weeks up to the election. Among college-aged females, he was down 26 points, you guys. So the College Republican National Committee took its own report and its own findings and decided we're going to implement it in Virginia, a swing state that Republicans can win and need to win. They put an ad out on the internet, strictly the internet, targeted to college-age females. It was called Terry Fish. It was based off of a TV show on MTV called Catfish. Catfish follows young people who are in relationships, I'm not sure you call it that, over the internet. And it's some young person who thinks that whoever they're in a relationship with isn't actually who they think that they're, who they actually are. They'll sit there and say, I'm in a relationship with a 22-year-old woman who does Pilates on Saturday, and it turns out it's a 77-year-old man who has a pet rat. And so they took that TV show, that premise, and applied it to Terry McAuliffe. They said, is it true, Terry? They went to his headquarters office, his campaign HQ, said, is it true that Terry McAuliffe left his wife in labor to attend a political fundraiser? Yes. Is it true that most of Terry McAuliffe's jobs that he created were actually in Mississippi instead of Virginia? That's true. That was the only ad targeted to college-age students, specifically college-age females. What we learned after the election, out of every single age demographic that liberals typically win, guess what they didn't win? The college-age vote. Specifically, college-age females. 1.5 million impressions. And not on websites like Facebook or Twitter or anything. Pandora, Spotify, Hulu. They use websites that you listen to for music. In fact, 73% of young people say over the course of a week they hear ads, and they take in ads more on those 3 websites than they do radio, television, mailers. If you're trying to reach young people through those mediums, you're going all wrong. Internet. Candidates have often asked me also, what can we do to get the young vote? The answer is simple. Go to campuses, talk to students, just engage them. Much like the GOP is starting to do with women and minorities, they're engaging them. Engage young people, just chit-chat with them. Ask them, what's your opinion of the economic crisis we have going on? What can we do to solve it? You know what they're going to say? They're going to say the Republican platform, and they're not going to know it, and they're going to vote for the crowd. That's why it's important to engage. That's why it's important for candidates to engage. For candidates to go, I am the Republican in this race, and everything you just said, that's my platform. You know what you did say? Everything in the Democrats' platform. It's worked time and time again. I can't stress that enough, you guys. Go to campuses, talk to them, just chit-chat with them. You'll find out a lot. College students, while we may be conservatives, like I said, we vote Democrat. If we cut off the voting age at 30 in 2012, we would have President Romney instead of second-term President Obama. That means that the youth of America voted and made Obama president for a second term. That's powerful. And the Republican Party has yet to fully recognize that young people are the deciding factors in these major elections. Young people have a huge voice and we vote. By the next presidential election, 20% of the voters will be young people, college students, those aged 18 to 29. It's important. I can't stress enough how important it is that we reach out to them and we work hard to really help them understand our platform. The focus groups have found that college students don't recognize that big government and support that big government goes with Democrats. And that once the government goes with Republicans, there's a disconnect. The majority of college students also want to be entrepreneurs, and they don't realize that they'll say that Republicans are the party of pro-business. But they say it's for corporations, not for small business. If you're a small business owner, you should vote Democrat. Yeah, my thoughts exactly. There's a disconnect, and it's all because Democrats have been able to control social media. They've been able to monopolize it and make sure that Republicans don't have a say through social media. 29% of young people get their news through Jon Stewart's TV show. 26% get through Stephen Colbert. Y'all. That's not good. Not good at all. If anyone's ever watched those shows, those are Democrats who mock Republicans with every single word they say. There's not a way that they can use to mock Republicans. And 29 and 26% of young people say they get their news from that weekly. Yeah, it's a comedy show. It's a big old joke, you guys. It's a big old joke. And young people, we want a better America. And what we care about, jobs. And I know everyone cares about jobs, but young people, we're graduating college with bachelor's degrees, not finding jobs. We have to go get master's degrees, and in some cases, PhDs. And you know what that means? Student loan debt. Over $1 trillion in student loan debt. No one's addressing that. If you want someone to youth vote, address issues that matter to us. And whenever I say the youth vote, just to clarify, I don't mean white men, Asian American women. I don't mean any of that. These are common themes that all young people have to deal with. It doesn't matter your race, gender, religion, sexual orientation. We have to deal with all these issues. So reaching out to us and engaging us is not about taking us part by part and trying to talk to us like, here's a white male, here's an African American female. We're all the same and have the same problems. And like I said, big is this. Big is this. Text messages. Campaigns and candidates should utilize text messages. My favorite state representatives here in Georgia, they use Twitter to update every single time they vote. I go on Twitter when the House is in session, and I see 3 or 4 state reps that I follow vote, and their justification for it on Twitter. They'll go, I voted on House resolution, yada, 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 yes, because yada, yada, yada. All 140 characters. That makes my life as a young person very easy. It makes me engaged and involved in that process. Because then I can go, hey, so-and-so, they don't like that. And young people do that. Young people want to be engaged. We do it through social media, not through traditional means that Republicans still utilize. So in closing, I just wanted to mention this little fun fact for you guys. 58% of young people, they get all their main news stories through Facebook. 28% use Twitter. Of those 58 that use Facebook, 74% use strictly from their Facebook newsfeed. 69% use it because they see someone had liked an article. And 37% who use Twitter, they do it through retweets. They will see that someone retweeted a news article and they'll read it. We have to get involved in social media. We have to reach out to them. Does anyone have any questions or anything? Open to questions?
If you had to guess, what percentage of this young demographic you're talking about you think sincerely want to be productive, self-reliant members of society, versus wards of the state? Because I think we have a growing number of people who would be happy to be wards of the state, within the parents' basement or whatever.
Young people are independent. We don't want to be dependent on people. We don't want to be dependent on our parents. The problem is, over half of college graduates move back to their parents' homes. That's not a statistic that young people are happy about, and that's certainly not a statistic that their parents are happy about. So I will never say that the majority of young people want to live off the government. They see their parents do that, and they see the struggles that their parents go through. It's not easy living on welfare, living off of entitlement programs. I mean, it may be easy in the sense of, wow, my couch is really comfortable, but it's not easy in the sense of, my kids want something and they can't necessarily have it because I live off government programs. Young people see that. Young people do not want that. Young people want to be productive members of society. That's why you're seeing an increase in young people going to graduate school, getting master's degrees. Young women, for the first time in history, are the ones going to get their graduate degrees, more so than men. Our generation, the millennials, we're not happy sitting around and living under the government. Sure, there are some who would and do want to do that, but the vast majority of us do not. And that is why I feel the Republican Party really can make inroads with young people.
I have a question. And do you resent, or do young people resent having to pay for health insurance to support older people being covered for medical care?
Young people who understand the situation sure as hell do. Those who have no idea, they don't know, so they don't. But if you sit down and just for 5 minutes and look over it, young people, when you tell them the details, and you tell them the key facts about Obamacare and how older people, the older generations are riding off our backs for Obamacare, that they're depending on us signing up for Obamacare so that more people can be channeled into Medicare.
Right.
That's not okay with young people, and we get very angry about that. And that's why Obamacare in young people is showing not going too well with it. Very resentful.
Yeah, touching on the other question, I think that a lot of Republicans sort of write off the young and they write off minorities because they think they're all a bunch of lazy freeloaders that just don't know what's going on, and we all cluck our tongues and talk about how ignorant they are. But if we ignore a conversation with minorities and we ignore a conversation with youth, then we're losing those population segments by default. And the thing that strikes me, and I'd like you to comment on as the most important, is that we need to come to the realization that the young people today are the future of tomorrow. So if we write them off, how irresponsible do you think we are?
Very irresponsible, and that's something the Republican Party has actually started realizing. And I will tell you, I'm gonna name drops. Gwinnett GOP, 7th District GOP, Forsyth GOP, they have been fantastic. Spalding County GOP, Athens Water GOP, those have been state or county parties that I will tell you understand, they get it. They understand, yeah, Rachel, they understand, and they want us. They want to hear our voices. And I will tell you, they have been ignoring young people. They have been ignoring minorities. And it's time to change that. And those that are having much more success than those who aren't. And young people want to be heard. We want our opinions to be heard. It's easy to sit there and say, you're a college student, go sit at the kids' table. We're all mature adults here talking about politics. But I will tell you, there are some young people who know more than an older person does in politics. I mean, young people are up to date. I will tell you, my Facebook feed, and I'm telling you, it's Facebook feed, Twitter feed, because that's what I'm on 24/7. My data usage is always over. Believe me, we use 20 gigs in a month. True story. No, I mean, it's everyone is interested. Those who you think aren't interested, my friends who I think they don't have much of a brain, they care, and they have very important opinions that the Republican Party can benefit from.
Okay, one more.
Yes, I would like to address independence and entrepreneurship Republican Party